Hello. This is going to be a short webinar on how to prepare your case study. In this, we're going to look at some different things, including what are some key tips that you can use to present your case study. Remember, your case study is 7 pages, 4 to 7 pages exclusive of charts and graphs. You have to have at least one graphic, and you have to have a bibliography with at least 5 references. Let's go ahead. The first tip is to write. It's really important just to sit down and write. What I suggest is write 1 page. Include the 4 key components of the case study. Number 1, the introduction. Number 2, the theory. Number 3, some story. And number 4, some conclusions you think you might want to read. Write about 250 words, see if it works, and then move on. The structure of the case study is pretty clear. What I suggest is creating a case study in 4 parts: an introduction, theory, storytelling, and conclusion. The introduction should be about 250 words and should give you the basic idea of what's going to go on in case study and should allude to the theory. The theory should be some type of theory that we dealt with in the course or relates to the course that you could use to illustrate a particular idea or an interesting idea. Maybe that's public debt or enabled technology from the 2030 document, or that could be trade creation or trade diversion, or as we're going to see later, maybe that's going to be kicking away the ladder. Storytelling is where you tell what actually happened in the particular case. This can go on from 2 pages to 10 pages, but remember, you're only having a 4 to 7 page case. Last, the conclusions. The conclusions should link the theory to the storytelling. That you should draw some conclusions out of this. Now, you need to have some type of a problem to illustrate. Some common problems are things like, what problem was a particular country or company facing? How did they solve the problem? What were the implications of the problem or solutions? Did that have long-term impact on the company? Or did this bring some sort of insight into your particular viewpoint? Now, let's take, for example, if we're going to look at the case of Brazil. Brazil started to make a technology industry. Why? Because they couldn't grow. They couldn't grow their economy, and thus they started to build a technology industry. What was the problem they were facing? They cannot grow. Now, how did they solve this problem? They tried to develop a new industry. Okay, that industry, technology, computer animation. What was the implication? The implication was that this was an infant industry. In other words, it was a new industry, and the new industry had to compete against different companies from outside of Brazil that had more expertise and had more efficiency in doing their particular technology. Thus, Brazil said they were going to protect the market or put up trade barriers in order to protect the local industry. Now, number 4, what was the insight, do you see? Well, what I see from that is the idea of kicking away the ladder, which is a theory by Ha-Joon Chang. Ha-Joon Chang is one of my favorite economists. He studied with Stiglitz, and he said that developed nations use a mix of free trade and protectionism whenever it suits them. Now, once they become advanced, they want to prevent others from adopting their strategies. So, for example, the United States was one of the leading protectionist countries from 1900 to about 1946. Since then, they've advocated open markets. But when a country like Brazil wants to protect its market because it is an infant industry, the United States will call foul and say that that's unfair, even though the United States used those same methods to advance many years earlier. It's important to create a cause-effect relationship between your story and what the final conclusion is. Thus, the theory or problem must relate to the conclusion. So make sure when you write the theory that you know that this is going to be included in the conclusion. When you write the conclusion, go back and check that some of your theory is included in the conclusion. You're trying to write some type of an illustration of a theory. Now, you have to look at how your particular case is going to have impact. Okay? Pick something that has a large impact. Don't pick a very minor issue. It's harder to find research on it. If you pick a bigger issue, it's going to be much easier to find research on it. Now, there can be qualitative impact and quantitative impact. Quantitative impact is going to deal with hard numbers. Qualitative impact could be issues such as political economic issues, cultural issues, or issues that are going to affect business growth in the future. So, one thing you want to do is use hard numbers. But where do you get hard numbers? My first choice for getting hard numbers is from Trading Economics. Trading Economics is a web page which collates the economic data, the public economic data from countries around the world. So this is the web page on the countries, and you see that most of the countries in the world are included. Now, when they include this information, the information varies from country to country because different countries keep more or less data. If you're going to look at the United States, they have an enormous amount of data. But if you're going to look at Bhutan, they're not only going to have less data, but they're also going to keep different data. For example, Bhutan keeps a happiness index. No other country in the world keeps a happiness index. This is an example of the economic indicators of India. GDP growth rate, inflation rate, balance of trade, but you're also going to have some very specific numbers that might help you out. For example, many countries keep a statistic on new car sales, or they keep a statistic on consumer confidence, or they keep records on oil production. All of these can help you out. Another one, and I talked about this in class, was the Observatory of Economic Complexity, which deals with trade data. So for example, this is the exports from India in 2016. Now this page shows what were the specific exports. Notice that their biggest exports are diamond jewelry and refined petroleum. Okay, but it's also going to show where these exports go to. So United Arab Emirates is one of the largest trading partners for India. What are they going to be trading there? Well, they don't need oil in that country because they have an enormous amount of oil. So they're probably going to be getting a lot of diamonds and jewelry coming from India going to the UAR. Notice down at the bottom, you can see the continents. The different multicolored squares below where it says the United States, those squares, if you push on them, it will show only the continent. So if you push on the green, then only South America will appear. Push on red, then only Asia will appear. It's important to use graphics since it's an requirement in the paper, but moreover, in order to fully convince your reader in a world of a digital age, it's important to have pictures. You can make pictures easily. One place that I reach to for making graphics is Canva. Canva is a great resource because it will give you lots of graphics that are very user-friendly and they're very easy to make. I use it a couple times a week. It's very helpful. Another place that's super helpful and you don't want to overlook is PowerPoint. PowerPoint with its new smart graphics creates excellent graphics that you can modify to make really beautiful images. Another thing to do is use Canva or another application called Piktochart to create infographics. Infographics combine pictures with data, and so they create very robust views of of data. You've seen one of these have been sent to your email account that I made for working on case studies. Captions are very important because they help the reader to follow what you're saying. They're a great add and they don't take much work at all. Let me show you how to make them. To add a caption, you need to select the object in Microsoft Word. So let's say you have a picture. You're going to push your mouse over the picture. Then you're going to click right, and there's going to be an option for Insert Captions. And finally, after you push the Insert Captions, you're going to have to change the label so you get a specific title for that slide, for that table. Here's an example. Notice that the person highlighted the blue. Okay, actually I highlighted the blue over the table. Then I pushed right, and you can see in the arrow where it says Insert Caption. Push on the Insert Caption. Then this box will appear. In this box, you're going to get the option for figure, diagram, chart, or table. Remember to change the language because many of your Microsoft Words are in Spanish or Portuguese. Therefore, instead of figura, you'll have to change it to figure. After the colon, you need to give it a title. For example, Economic Growth Rate for 2018 or Consumer Confidence since 2015. Whatever it is, you need to label it. Oftentimes, you're also going to want to group the slides together. So what you're going to do is you're going to take an image and you're going to take text and you're going to push group, which is one of your options when you right click. This will make it a complete static image. Now, why do we do this? We do this for referencing. Specifically, what we want to do is we want to give every chart, graph, or picture a title. And then after they have a title, you can say, okay, this is figure number 2, or this is figure number 5. There's nothing worse for a reader than looking at a chart and having someone write, as you see above in the chart above, and then you look above and there's 3 different charts. It keeps the reader very clear about what you can do. So make sure to have captions. Finally, the bibliography. You need to have a bibliography, a simple bibliography for this project. 5 references. Now, bibliographies are oftentimes very hard to make, so I'm giving you an option that will help you out and speed up this process. This is an image of BibMe, a site where you can create bibliographies with no effort whatsoever. All you have to do is you have to paste your URL or your ISBN number from a particular document into the white box. You choose what kind of document you're going to use. For example, most of the time you're going to be using websites. Okay? Then you're going to search for the book or title, and then in the part where it says APA, MLA, and Chicago, you have to choose the style of referencing you're going to use. The most common for this course is going to be APA. All right, and then this will be the result of your work in BibMe. In BibMe, on the final page, you will see an option for Save as Doc, which means a Word doc. So save the doc, and this will be a bibliography. Notice that this is an annotated bibliography. The annotations are the words below the citation. You don't have to write the annotation, just save the annotations. All right. Now, cut and paste that and put that into your case study. All in all, what I'm trying to do is make sure that you have some basic tools to get this case study done quickly, that you have a high level of quality, and it's not going to cost you a lot of pain and suffering. Remember, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm more than happy to read drafts or help you out in any way. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.